Can we talk about that?
Fucking horse.
Hello. Yep.
Hello.
Episode 36. Back on the horse. Fishy Bee session.
Now tell us about number 36, mate. This is your episode.
Well,
this
36,
is all about you.
yeah. I don't know. I've always loved it since I was a kid. And when I was 15 and I bought a bomber for the Speedway. It was an old HR Holden. It was $500.
Yeah.
And when they started this thing up, my jaw dropped. I went, holy fuck, I've got to have it. Because it only had extractors and no muffler or anything.
Yeah.
And this is a 186 motor or something. I can't remember, but it was this big blue beast of a HR Holden, roll cages. And I said, it's got to be number 36. So went out, had to get a scrutineer, and we had to weld a few more roll bars in it and that. And I think it was like the third or fourth race, I rolled it and wrecked it and fucked it. Yeah. So it was like coming out of the turn 2 up at Charlton. I think the right rear tyre blew, and then we started rolling and down the track, and my head was hitting the steel plate on the top and landed on the roof, unclipped the belts, climbed out. The massive crowd because it was a sprint car night.
Yeah.
And
They all cheer for you.
yeah, they were all down the fence, all the kids and that. And
Before the days of camera phones.
yeah.
I would love to see
This
it.
would have been 1990, I think.
I was 8.
Yeah, so I was out there, and the motor was a weapon. It was so fast. But then after that, I got a Tirana, which was number 87, and then I had a Leader sprint car, which was number 89. But it all started with 36. So there you go.
The amount of times I have been at a casino and walked up to a roulette table and thought, I should chuck some money on number 36, and then not done it.
Yeah.
And it's comes up 36. And I
Yeah.
know Scott's going to give me some bullshit fucking practical implementation of life of what that means.
Well, what do you think it means?
Well, the amount of times you haven't done that, you haven't thought about it, all that shit.
So what are you
Fuck up.
suggesting is happening instead?
Leggy and I both like number 36.
Okay.
And
it comes up
before
more
Leggy
often
and I
when you're
met, 36 was actually one of my favourite numbers
Yeah, right.
too.
Yeah.
And that's for the dumbest reason ever, and that is that 36 is divisible by so many different numbers. It just feels
6,
like a really good number.
2,
1, 2,
18,
3,
Yeah.
12.
4,
It's a strong number.
6,
Strong number.
Yeah.
9.
Jeez, you're right.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, is it divisible by 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4
Four nines.
nines are 36.
Did I say 18? Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
there
is
you
just
go.
a good, strong number. It feels like it's...
Yeah.
got
It
many
didn't
uses.
work on the HR Holden, but
No.
so I
Yeah,
fucked
flip
it.
the shit out.
I
It's
think that
funny
was-
that it is a favourite number. It was after
I think
that.
it was lack of skill though, because I was
Oh,
15.
good.
But anyway, yeah. All right, first question out of Fishy Bee. If it's your
Bee.
first time listening, we've got a fishbowl here full of questions. We're going to pull them out, answer them. They're random, so this is the first one. How is AI changing your industry?
I mean, we could talk about this.
So, well, that's what the question's for.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to pass?
That's just boring. But
So tell us
So
what
web design, digital marketing, obviously.
web design, digital marketing. Okay.
So you can design a website now by just writing in the AI thing. Design me a website for a plumbing business that has 5 pages, and it'll basically produce a website for you.
Now, because I'm daft at this, can you use just like Chat GPT, or that you need a specialized AI that does that?
There is specialized ones. I think, Ben, how far would ChatGPT go with something like that? It'll tell you like the sitemap. It'll do all the
It can do all the
copywriting.
design, do the design for you. Yeah, it
Okay.
does multimodal, so it'll do imagery as well as
It does imagery.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. So how will that affect you in, say, 5-10 years with your business?
Well, people currently pay us to do that,
Yes,
and now they can type a bunch of words into the thing, and it does it for them.
I know. So is it bleak?
I think we're gonna retire.
I
We're
mean,
pushing forward to
You could
retirement.
describe it as bleak, but we're just gonna go la 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 la. No. The actual boring answer is that yes, like all these tools make it easy for the person to do, say, Google ads, Facebook ads, or website, all those sorts of things.
Yep.
But there's so much competition around where to put your ads to the right audience. You still got to pay platform fees. There's going to be better return on investment in certain channels than others.
Right.
And there's still a need for people in the industry to know where to spend your advertising dollar.
Okay.
So while it might be easier for a DIY person to implement, say, Google Ads or a website or that, there's actually going to be a proliferation of more platforms to choose from. So if instead of, like, do you think the plumber down the road is going to be bothered? Like, he just wants to go do more plumbing jobs, make more money for themselves.
Yeah.
Trust us as the experts to know which channels are the best
To put it in.
to put it in, all that sort of stuff. So,
Okay, yeah.
and it will make our jobs actually easier to execute campaigns on all the different channels.
Yep.
But we still need to
Have the knowledge.
and say,
Right,
okay, to
okay.
deploy your marketing, you're best to go to this. It may bring down the price of individual components of that strategy,
Yep.
but there's going to be more components to the strategy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting, though.
Yep.
That's,
I can't
you say
wait.
It's boring, but
I
it's
cannot
interesting.
wait to hear your answer to this in the landscaping game.
Well, if
Build me a retaining wall.
if AI can dig some fucking holes for me,
Yeah,
that would be
if
great.
you could get tree roots out,
set-
17 out of 18
Set
holes,
post level and plumb and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think more
you are
from
going to
the-
be just fine.
Yeah, I think more concern than is the music industry.
Yeah.
Like, I think that you
Yeah.
know, it might take away that. I don't know.
Creativity. I often think about that with movie scripts, like, because ChatGPT was the first of the AI bands to really get some traction. And you can now say, write me a movie script where with a few characters and build it around this, give it this tone, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just find that amazing. That, or not amazing. I find that threatening.
Has a
for
movie been
different-
made yet from a AI
Ben
script?
might be able to answer that.
Yeah, there's definitely examples of it.
Is there?
Yeah,
Not the
and
whole
it's-
movies.
Whether they've
high
made a
production
release
value.
one, but yeah, the technology
certainly a
is there.
script.
It's called Sora by OpenAI, and it's I think even this week some famous Hollywood actor came out and said, "Why would I bother setting up a set when I could just do this and get it done for $100?"
Really?
And I think he got absolutely destroyed because, like, you're destroying an art form there,
Yeah.
whatever. but-
Yeah, I think like in our industry we deal with copywriting, so creative writing, other sorts of writing. At the moment, the level that I see ChatGPT at, even with graphics, all that sort of stuff, it's at a level where it's okay, like for an average piece of work.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a good piece of work, say writing an article,
Yeah.
at this point in time, there's still a skill
Yeah.
beyond just typing in, write me an article about this. Like,
Yeah.
because remember, ChatGPT is just really getting the average of a piece of information. So
Oh,
if you
it grabs it from everywhere, doesn't it?
yeah, that's right. So if I said, write an article about how the AI is going to affect the future, you get a very balanced opinion from the AI. You won't get an
Yeah.
insightful, opinionated piece that is different from the mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, the definition of
Yeah.
it is that it is getting the average of information around.
Yeah, and to make it more complex, the way it works is it writes every next character based on
The likelihood.
the likelihood of it being the next character.
Yeah.
So of all
right.
the,
So
the
it-
large language that it knows in the world, same with when you've seen AI images.
Yep.
You say, okay, well, the stuff we do for our things are often AI.
Yep.
Our,
Yep.
what do you call it, covers? So if I say, put Leggy in a boat,
Yep.
it'll do one pixel, and then what it knows about boats will say what's most likely going to be the next pixel next to this. And then after that, so it's building it one by one based on statistics of what it knows about a boat.
Okay.
So it reverts to the mean, like reverts to the average,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
by definition.
Yeah.
The other thing...
So it searches the web for all articles based on boats or something.
It's indexed
and
so
then
much
it comes-
information.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing, like the technology itself.
Right.
But I think there's always a place, particularly in art, I suppose, that like a new perspective. But then I don't think that means that in 10 years' time, 5 years' time, it hasn't progressed to the point that it can be more creative than it is now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I just think all it needs is a feedback loop. So just imagine like the best song you can imagine. Let's just say, what's a classic song? Like Stairway to Heaven,
Yeah.
Hotel California. Like, you hear it as a human, most humans think that's a great song.
Yeah.
It does this and it does that, and I love that part. Imagine once AI gets to the point where it can understand how a human would perceive the sounds that it outputs, whether some feedback loop.
Dynamics. You
How-
think AI could?
Like if it could have a way of just randomly producing sounds that is a song that it's made, and have feedback from an audience, so humans, like a million humans, about, did you like that?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Okay, I'll change it this way. Did you like that more? Yes,
Yeah.
no. Do you like that more? Yes, yes, yes. How awesome a piece of audio it could make if it had that feedback loop.
That's it.
So all it needs to do, I'm talking a little bit out my ass here because I don't know, but
Oh, that's yeah.
but if it can somehow simulate a human's brain's response to sounds and then build that into its algorithm, what's saying it couldn't make just mind-blowing songs?
Yeah.
But then that becomes standard. Like once we hear all the mind-blowing songs, it has to evolve to the next thing. If we hear Stairway to Heaven, like 100 iterations of Stairway to Heaven, it's like, yeah, next, you know?
It's like wish chips. If everyone's a wish chip.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go back to folk music and
Do you
acoustic
reckon
guitar.
when? Do you reckon when Neil Diamond wrote Sweet Caroline that he knew that Yobbo fucks were going to go so good, so good, so good every time they fucking sing it in a pub?
Yeah.
I don't know how that's related. I just thought about that while we were talking about
Oh, Sweet 69. That's where we used to sing it. All right. Next question from the Fishy Bee is: if you didn't know your age, how old would you think you'd be?
I think about this
Wait,
all
hold
the
on.
time.
Yeah.
So I just
If you looked at a photo of yourself.
No, just how you feel.
Yeah,
or
how you
feel,
look, you
okay.
look, that kind of thing.
I think about this all the time. So I just turned 42.
Right.
I often think to myself, 42-year-olds should be. I feel a lot younger. Like, not physically, because I'm a fat broken wanker. But
Apple crumble.
no, but like mentally, I feel I'm quite immature compared to a 42-year-old. Like, I still like
Right.
to have a bit of fun. Like, me and Scott still tear each other apart and come up with just dumb shit that when I was a kid, a
Yeah.
42-year-old wouldn't be coming up with some of the dumb shit that Scott and I engage in on a daily basis.
Right.
So I often think about that. But then I watch TV shows now,
Yeah.
like past TV. My kids are watching a little bit of mate, this might be bad parenting, but Two and a Half Men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
some pretty
Men,
raunchy shit
men,
that goes on in
yeah.
that. But in that show, back when Charlie Sheen was on it,
Yeah.
he was 40. 40.
Was he?
That drunken lunatic was 40.
Yeah, okay.
And I often have moments where I'm like, oh, I'm older than that.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. I often feel like I'm carrying myself younger than my age.
Yep.
Or then you like watch people walk around in the fucking street wearing suits to work and all that kind of shit, and you're just like, well, how old are you? Because I'm wearing shorts and thongs to work some days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I feel like my behavioural age is younger.
That's a good one. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Does everyone think that though? Like, because I think that.
That's
like,
what I
I'm not a man. Like,
Yeah.
No, I don't feel
I'm
like
an
a man.
immature, but
No.
but is when you talk to people, they often say that as well. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't feel grown up ever.
No, you
No,
don't feel
haven't
grown
that's
up.
right.
yet.
Yeah.
You feel like it's imposter syndrome sort of thing. Actually, Zach had Teddy, our dog, the other day, and he was like carrying him, and he was like, he came up to me, and he was like just doing baby talk to Teddy. He was saying, "Who's that there? Who's that nice man?" I said, "Nice man. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said. Nice and man." Like,
Yeah.
so like sometimes it's when. Yeah, when I get called a man by a kid, like, oh, the man
Yeah.
said this, I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
where?
Well, I have those moments as well where I'm just like, I'm not a man. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I think it's the. I guess your mind gets to a point of going, well, certain things change as you get older, where you don't give a fuck about as much.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things. But you still think you're 18, 20, 21-year-old,
Yeah.
but your body's telling you different. You know,
Yeah.
you still have that
Yeah,
capacity to be that young, foolish.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
your body tells you otherwise.
Well, I went out last weekend with my cousins. We had a cousin catch up,
Yep.
and it spanned from the
Thanks for the
oldest,
invite.
my brother, 44, down to the youngest, my cousin Ashley, who's 25.
Right. Yeah.
And it was very apparent the
difference.
age difference.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
at the end of the night, my cousin, my youngest cousin, she was ready to go. She was ready to go. Let's
go to the valley.
It got to like 1 a.m. and I like smoke bombed the fuck out of it. I was just like,
Phantom,
fuck
yeah.
this. I'm just like, I'm getting out of here. And I got in
Yeah.
an Uber and I disappeared and had 30 missed calls on my phone and shit. I was just like, fuck this. I'm done. I need to be
Yeah.
home. So,
Do you think as you get older, like it feels like you get righter about things, but do you think you get righter or do you get wronger?
Writer, as in
Like more, like you feel like you're getting wiser. Like, yeah, okay, I know that. Like
Yeah.
you just accumulate information and knowledge and how life works and all that. But is that real or is that an illusion? Are we wrong as we get older? Are we getting righter or wronger? Are we just getting like jaded and like, and then young people who are acting carelessly and recklessly, they're right to do that?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think we just don't have an outside perspective on ourselves. I think that's what it all comes down
Yeah.
to. Is previously we were teenagers and we had a perspective on our parents and people we perceived as 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds,
Yep.
etc. And now we are in our own bodies and we're living the life that we have grown up with
Yeah.
and progressed to.
Yeah.
So we don't have a perspective on us. We've just got a perspective outwardly.
Yeah.
And even, like, I don't want to call you an old bastard, but even me and you, like, my instant thought was, this is how I feel in my early 40s.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in your early 50s?
Yeah. Yeah.
50.
50.
And, like, are you still feeling the same or has it changed?
Yeah.
But then I think, well, that's your perspective.
Yeah.
Whatever you're feeling is your perspective. It's not what I perceive you
That's
to
right.
be.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest 50-year-old I know in the world.
That's bad, though. Yeah. I think I don't know, for me as a 21-year-old or, 25-year-old looking at someone 50, feeling exactly the same, they're probably feeling exactly the same as I do.
yeah, that's right.
But
yeah.
but I think we
your
always
perspective.
compensate for it and make excuses for it and go, well, 50's a new 40.
yeah.
And that's the human way of doing stuff, and we're just hanging on to that. But my mind is still quite young.
Well,
And I'm
that's
still
that's what I
quite
was gonna
active
say.
and-
I truly believe you're only as young. You're as young as the company that you keep
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. Like so with yourself, like you hang out with us.
Well, I got it because people my age can't keep up.
But I can't keep up with you. I can't. Like it's the opposite. I can't keep up with you. You're a fucking machine.
Do you
So-
think sometimes, like, you feel the older the person is, the more you suppose? So, I suppose. So, a young person looking at me, they feel sorry for me that I'm like, my life's half over. Then vice versa. Like, when I look at an even older person, I'm like, geez, you're near the end of your life. Like, if they're in their 70s, something like that. Could it be the other way around? Like, sometimes I think it the other way around. I look at a really old person and say, you've got more under your belt to reflect on. Like, is your
Yeah.
life you've done more things, you've got less pressure to do, like, what's
Yeah.
done is done.
Yeah.
You've got more memories, you've got more, do you know
We're
what I'm
still
trying to say?
experiencing life.
I don't
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
but
young.
you're experiencing more of it, like because you've lived all that.
Yeah.
All that shit you did, you still get to access that
Yeah.
in your brain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would hate. I look at 20-year-olds now, and this maybe it's just the world we live in now. But I look at 20-year-olds now, and I am so thankful that I am not a 20-year-old growing up.
With all the Tinder and all that stuff. Like,
Not even that. Even the cost of living pressures
living.
and like, I went out the other night, and I was home by 1. I spent $300.
Holy shit.
Like we went to James Squire.
Oh, yeah.
In
Oh, you
West End.
FaceTimed me, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Did I? I don't remember that.
Did you? You
But,
did. A few
um,
times, yeah.
$300.
but how much?
I remember
of
when
that is,
I understand
like,
that,
they choosing to
yeah.
hand that money over to the bloody pub. Like, you don't
But
have to.
I would just hate
Like-
to live in society today where the
That's a normal
Australian
night.
dream has always been buy a house, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
It just feels harder to reach than ever before,
Yeah.
and things feel tougher for younger people now than they did when we were young. Like,
Yeah.
I
One
feel
thing-
like things were pretty fucking easy when we were in our 20s. Like,
One thing that I think has happened, again, talk out my ass a fair bit, but
yep, there's a whole
I-
podcast on that, mate.
theory
Pull your mic closer.
is the transition from single income to double income, I think, was a big spike in house prices.
Yep.
Yeah.
So house prices have really changed to fulfill what the average household income is. So
Yeah.
so back in 50s and all that, single income usually, then obviously society changed, both people work. Oh, suddenly houses get more expensive
Yeah.
because the supply and demand situation, people have more disposable income,
Yep.
can spend it more on houses, then houses rise to fulfill that, what the capacity of someone is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know where it's going with that in terms of today's thing, but
Is
I
that
think-
out of necessity, though, you think, with the
well-
double income?
how do you mean, sorry?
Well, like there was a change in society where, it was, back then it was, the men sometimes didn't even go to the hospital for the
madmen.
birth. They were at the pub with their mates, you know.
Yeah, and,
And then- and then
work-wise,
but-
it was the madmen, men at the office.
I don't actually
women at
know
home.
Yeah.
if it's been a positive thing that the or that the necessity is for, like, look, wouldn't it be better if you could survive with one income? I'm not saying it has to be the man or woman, it could be either.
Yeah, that's right.
But
yeah.
like now because we got to that point where two people are expected to work, now the cost of living has risen to the point where you do need two people to work. You need to put your kids in childcare at the age of 6 months
Yeah.
and keep working.
Yeah.
And that's what the government's push has been is, well, I know it's come from a good place of we should, like gender equality and all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah, of course,
what's
yeah.
resulted is that the expectation is that both people have to work, kids have to go on childcare, and you can't really
Can't
survive because
survive
of
if they
cost of
don't.
living.
I was
Yeah.
talking to my brother about this on the weekend. My wife works 30 hours a week
Yeah.
out of school, and because she earns because she works 30 hours a week, she doesn't earn the same as a full-time person, all that stuff. That is that's tough for us,
Yep.
but I would not trade the fact that she is able to cope with some of the extra stuff at home for me and all that kind of stuff because she's doing 30 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the pressure is getting so much in the world now that people can't afford to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you really do need two
Yeah.
good, solid, full-time wages now
Yeah.
to
And
be able to cope.
And I actually think that is where a lot of this struggle of, say, a early 20s person at the moment, people, I think, are settling down later and partnering off later and committing to a marriage later in life.
Later,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
people trying to buy a house by themselves, which wasn't the case 30 years ago. It would be once you're married, you'd then get a house, two income, all that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Now, of course, it's impossible as a single person in your 20s to buy a house by yourself, but that's what people are trying to do because they're not committing to those situations.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that levels out in another way. Like, you can't. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say. Fuck, what was that?
I don't know.
Here goes his mind again.
This is good content.
Are you sure?
What were we talking about just
This
before?
is very
that?
serious
Oh
content.
yeah, I was just going to touch on. That was probably a dicey topic to get involved in, but do you remember that NFL guy's speech about he was kind of inappropriate in the context. He was making a graduation speech. What's his name? It's like
NFL.
Travis Cleese's teammate.
Kelsey's teammate.
Oh, he was
I don't
making
know.
a speech, a graduation speech, and he was basically saying something about homemaking. And like, even though you guys got the degrees and stuff, you might actually like being a homemaker more. And it was kind of, the way he did it was a bit, wasn't the time or the place to make that comment. It was coming from a good place in his own. Like, he was basically saying his wife has chosen to be a homemaker,
Yeah,
and
right,
there's no
yeah.
more honourable occupation, I suppose, than doing that. So I think where he was probably trying to come from was to not minimize that as a role,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but it came across as
Oh, right.
you've got your degree, but just go back into the home sort of thing. Like, came off that
What's
way.
funny is we've all got kids, and we all knew very quickly when we had young babies, it's fucking easier to be at work than to be at home.
Yeah, or in the
with those
toilet.
fucking kids.
Or in the toilet.
Yeah, taking 20-minute shits.
I do like the Bill
That's
Burr
when my cycle,
one.
my poo cycles changed from like once every
Yeah.
few days to once
But
or twice a day.
I think it was on Oprah, and she goes, "Oh, being a mother's the hardest job in the world." And Bill Burr goes, "No, it's not." You come out in your pajamas, you put a DVD on, and it's guys with black lung down in the mines. They send a fucking canary down. It doesn't come back. Yeah. Or that Event Horizon, or not Event Horizon, one of the where they're out on the oil rig and it catches on fire, and they have to jump in the burning water. And yeah, it's just he's great. All right, next one.
That was quite deep.
Yeah.
A light-hearted
what was the
one would be
question?
good.
How old do you think you're? Yeah,
how
I'm
old
just
are you? Yeah.
still a young guy trapped in an old man's body. Have you ever Googled yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed. Like Taylor is
Yeah, you
quite
get
pretty
well known.
common.
He's a famous
I
guy,
did-
Chris Taylor, like the Chasers War
Yeah,
and
the
everything. guy.
Chasers War and everything guy, Chris Taylor.
On the
He used
guy
to
back
come
on the
up.
Horse podcast, Chris Taylor. He's
Yeah, I mean, my place of work comes up, but so quite uneventful. But yeah, Chris Taylor, the guy from the Chaser,
Alright.
would come up. But
Yep.
yeah, pretty boring other than that.
He's a guy who works at Honeywell with the name Scott Maynard. He comes up.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, but no one eventful. I get a lot of emails from some Scott Maynard in the UK. He's a bloody washing machine repair guy or something, and I get all these emails.
Didn't you engage with it?
Oh, that was a
once where
different
you
one.
Tried to help.
Was it?
Yeah, I was on a school classroom list in America,
Yeah.
like where I just get all these.
And didn't you give
all
them
these
advice
emails,
on hot
like,
dogs and
Yeah,
shit?
they were like sending all these classroom notices and stuff, and they were going on some camp or something, and they were saying we need to organise the food, the menu or something like that, and I just couldn't not get involved in that.
Yeah.
So I
of course.
replied and just talking about it. We need, like I said, I'm just so you know, I'm the different guy. I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
But since you asked,
Yeah.
I
Listen
think
to this.
I can't remember
There's
what
a
I
whole
suggested.
podcast where I can't stop myself from just going
so I
nuts
suggested
about
the menu,
food.
and I also made special mention on if you're going to serve cordial, either choose to serve cordial like properly, or don't.
Yeah.
Like don't go this halfway weak shit. Just
Yeah.
either go water or full strength cordial.
strength,
And
yeah.
I think I said, well, probably Kool-Aid in your language, but don't just try to skimp on that because the kids, it's worse than water if it's half strength cordial.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Benji, you
Yeah, I'm a famous kayaker, apparently.
is it kayaking?
there's
Yeah.
Australian kayaking champion or something, which
Yeah,
is pretty
right.
cool. So I just pretend to be that.
Good luck in the upcoming Olympics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a guy from Toowoomba who's exact same name, and he's a
Bullshit.
refrigeration.
Exact same name and spelling.
Yep. And he's a
Bullshit.
refrigeration mechanic or something.
Really?
and that. Yeah.
Have you met him?
I did meet him once.
Yeah.
There was a manager there, and he goes, "Brendan Leggett, meet Brendan Leggett." I went, "Ah," and then I think,
Had he heard of you?
yeah, because I was always in the paper and
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
for
you were.
racing and all that kind of stuff. So and footy. So and he's like, "It's not fucking me." it's
You
the
should
other
get
one.
him to do some gigs for you, and they'll just pay the same account they've always paid.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
I might not
all
get
right.
him back if he can't actually play. This other
he
guy
might be good, mate. You don't know.
might be better.
No, no chance of
I'll
that.
go join his band.
Absolutely fucking
Jesus
no chance of that.
Oh, I'm not going to be protective of you anymore. Fuck you. Jesus. All right. If you had to pick one person to represent Earth if aliens visited, who would you choose?
Donald Trump.
No, fuck off. I reckon maybe Hugh Jackman.
Oh, that's a good one.
I reckon Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Like-
Because he could dance, sing, and
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a pretty good
he's
choice.
just a fucking
He's a good lad.
human.
Yeah.
Like he is. When I think about Australia, anytime I think about them talking about Australians,
yeah.
I think he's a great representation.
Maybe
of
Pat
Australia.
Rafter as well.
Yeah, Pat Rafter. I was thinking about Pat Rafter. You mentioned him in the last episode. I was
Yeah.
thinking about him. Do you remember when he used to serve? When
Sorry,
he would
mate.
when he would do his ball toss,
Caramel.
but he'd fuck it.
Yeah, tell the rest of it.
When
yeah.
he'd do his ball toss, but he'd fuck it, and he would go, "Sorry, mate."
Yeah.
Like that was just the kindest thing. Like he didn't have to say sorry. Like you're allowed to fuck your ball
Great
toss,
guy,
but
yeah.
he just, "Sorry, mate."
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
love that about
Yeah.
him. I was only thinking about that today.
Yeah.
But I reckon maybe Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, maybe.
I reckon
Maybe The Rock.
He's a,
Get the Rock up there. just fuck him
no,
up.
he's a penis.
He's a penis.
Joe Rogan, he'd probably talk him into
No,
like
fuck
there's
off.
some conspiracy on Earth that they shouldn't be here for some
Yeah.
reason, and they
He's
should go
very
back.
clever, though, Joe Rogan. He does a lot of research. Someone like Barack Obama, I think, or if he was still alive, Steve
Yeah.
Irwin, I think it'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I reckon Barack Obama.
We got a slimy one here.
I reckon he was a level.
Yeah, I like
level,
Barack.
which is weird for a US president to be that level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he was a level-headed human being.
I don't know why.
Why are they getting that so wrong over there?
Why
those
don't they
fucking
just
idiots?
choose a decent candidate,
Yeah.
like
Instead of a geriatric
Yeah.
or an insane person who grabs people by the
Yeah.
or previous, like George Bush, like just dumb as dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they
I
keep
can't
getting it
believe
so
that-
wrong?
I can't believe they voted George Bush in again, George Bush Jr. twice. Like that was
Like,
one
why
I
do
really
they keep
was-
getting it so
Listen.
badly wrong? Where they just think, "Thank goodness we've got this person at the helm."
Yeah. But Trump's been convicted, yeah? And charged.
he's been found guilty.
Found guilty,
Found guilty.
and he's now waiting.
So what happens now?
But
Can he
so-
be president or not?
But if he gets to
He's
become president, all that gets thrown out the window. He becomes immune. Like, how the fuck does that
Oh,
happen?
wait,
No.
wait, he doesn't get.
Surely
he doesn't
can't
get
be immune for
punished.
past.
No, he'll become immune because he's president.
what?
Yeah. If
I
he
didn't
makes presidency.
It's
Yeah.
it's fucked.
I heard
up.
it the other day and went,
They're
"What
fucking.
the
It's not even worth diagnosing because they're dumb. Like, they're dumb. Like the fact that George Bush Jr. got in twice is bewildering. But then they brought Barack Obama in, and it was just like, okay, you got it right for a change.
Yeah,
He was
sensible.
a fucking great human.
Yeah.
But then they went and got old
So it's Clinton.
pimple head in.
So it was Hillary after Obama. I think it was Hillary Clinton versus Trump, wasn't
Trump?
it?
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
yeah.
And
And
then
everyone
Trump
thought that
won.
Clinton would, yeah.
And there was a whole. Oh, didn't he quote? Isn't he quoted as saying, "We can't have a president who's under investigation"? Or
Yeah.
because wasn't she investigated
She
for
was
some
investigated
email?
because she was
thing.
using
Deleting
a personal
emails.
email
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
a
deleted
bunch of shit.
And then he's got there's these quotes where he's saying that's
Yeah.
how can you have someone run for president
Yeah.
who's this and it's like, and
Then he
but
grabbed-
he's immune from that. He's just like he just
then he went and
slugs
grabbed
out of it.
Stormy
He's
Daniels right in the fucking right in
Yeah,
the
I got Sleepy Biden, and he turns
Yeah.
around to shake people's hands. There's no one there.
yeah,
And
fall
it's
down
like-
the stairs and
What?
like,
So
that's like he might die in the middle of a speech.
I like when
he
he-
might. He is.
I've seen the one where they say whenever he leaves a speech, he's like a Roomba. He just like goes. It's awesome.
But that's the one for me. Is okay. So they got Trump going, and then they're
He might come back.
the Democrats are vulnerable because Joe Biden is there's so much about him being old and not up to it.
Yeah.
Why don't they just choose a decent candidate?
Yeah, a
and,
good human.
and they'll beat Trump.
How
He
many
or she
people
will
in
beat
that
Trump.
country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people in that country?
300 million.
Surely they can
230,
find
I think,
some
yeah.
good humans.
Yeah.
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 It's weird, eh? I
Yeah.
think, to be a politician, you got to
Oh, there's lots of
attract
history
certain sort of
and-
people. You
yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
most of the good humans are not going to be attracted to that job. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it's
Yeah.
power
It's-
hungry type people who are often,
Have to be. Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
it's
in,
big
in that
business.
American system, the
Yeah.
president type,
Yeah.
system.
Have you got one? Anyone, mate? Do you think?
If aliens came down,
Yeah.
Dave Grohl.
Oh yes, best answer ever. Yeah.
Jack Black as well, maybe.
Jack Black.
Tenacious D. is what I'm saying, yeah.
Black.
That's great.
That'd be awesome.
Ah, excellent.
We've all chosen musical people.
All
Maybe
right.
they just have their heads screwed on better than musos.
Does having you read that? Does having the number icon on your apps bother you?
Like the like
I don't
how
know if I
many
got that. Let me
Like
have
notifications and that.
Is that like definitely
This
in
is
that
weird
Android
timing.
thing?
It's weird timing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got that.
I took a shit today,
Right.
and I like my phone was weirdly out of control with notifications, and I don't like it. Like, so I cleared my reminders app had 2 notifications. I cleared that.
Yeah.
Then, there was a couple of other apps that had 3 or 4 here and there. I just cleared them all.
Yeah.
I can't handle
I'm the
not
same.
having that cleared and
Yeah.
sorted.
I got to have them all gone. Got to be all
Fucking-
clear.
Fucking guy that I work with,
Yeah.
he is a nightmare. He's
Okay.
like on his messages app, and that's just text messages.
Yeah.
124 unread messages.
I saw one last night, 830 something.
Yeah, but the thing, I say to him, how do you know if someone's messaged you? And he goes, I'll just quickly look at it and put it down. I'm like, no, you have to rely on the fact that you knew it was 124 before and now it's 130. Like, he's just a dumb fucking system. You're an idiot. Stablemate Carl, you're a fuckwit. Like a proper fucking idiot. He knows I hate it.
So what do you
I hate
got?
it.
As he would say, it's two sides of the same coin. He's quite a creative guy. You can't
Who?
be Carl.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He is.
Yeah, he
Like,
is. He's great.
It's the things that make
work
him
He's an
politics here.
award-winning
disorganized
bird
are the things that make him good at other things. Like that's what he's brainwashed me to think anyway. It's like you can't have it all, you know.
Yeah.
Well, on the Android, it's a bit like yes, I never actually, to be honest, noticed that the app has an icon. Like see that WhatsApp, it does have.
You don't
fire.
notice that that's got that little
No,
thing
because
at
the
corner?
notification system. That's what I am more in tune
Oh,
to.
I'm not.
The because it's different to the iPhone notification, which is
Right.
just as different. Let's not call it worse, but let's just say
Is
yeah.
it worse?
It's different.
Is that what you're saying? Is it worse?
Well, I think people who go from Android to Apple do struggle with the notification on Apple because it's just less visible and granular than the Apple one, than the Android ones. So that's what I'm more tuned to, that thing up the top. So I can see I've got WhatsApp that I need to read. I can see I've got a text
right.
message.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
You
when
wanna show
I-
the camera
and-
that.
Well, it might be something private on there.
Just showed us. What would be on
And
there?
so
You're happy to play with your dick.
I can kind of like preview that. So if like I swipe down there, that WhatsApp, I can have a peek at that. So that's
Right.
That's David talking about stablemate David actually talking about potential ski trip, but I'll leave. I won't read that. So at least I. Yeah.
But so you're happy to leave the icons on there until you get
Well,
around to it and all that kind of thing.
the icons, I think these ones I try to clear them but
Right.
that's what I need to make sure I don't click it if I'm not willing to action it, sort of
Right,
thing.
okay,
I have a peek
yeah.
at it, but yeah.
Benji, you're
Yeah, it's got to be sorted.
cleared.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the same.
I,
All
I
right.
do agree though on Android. Oh, I'm Android as well. It's a little bit different. It's not so in your face with how
Yeah.
many numbers
Do
you got left.
you
Okay.
focus on the notifications rather than the little things, Ben?
Yeah, it's just a little notifications tray. So
A
Yeah.
swipe down
Yeah.
tray,
Yep.
and you
Yeah,
can see
see-
it in the top.
So even for me right now, I've got one message with a little one there, and then whatever this is here, this folder here, I've got 4 of something in there. I struggle with that. I need to fix those quickly. My emails down here, I've got 76 new emails.
Yeah, see that.
I've learnt to cope with that. So I
Well, there's a
use
separate system for that, probably.
well, that's my work email, so I've
Yeah.
got my work email
Yeah.
in here now. And I've struggled to learn to cope with that's always going to be out of control. But in my head, I was just like, I can't have my work emails on here because I'll never cope with that little number being 76
Yeah.
there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But even here, like 4 there, 1 there, 1, that's a nightmare to me. I need to go and
But
fix
are they in
that.
your notification center as well, or what? I don't
No,
know.
they're
Have
not
a notification.
notifications. It's just something's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my notification center, I swipe down, it's just there. So
Okay.
All right. Next one out of the Fishy Bee. Stabemates out there are just clearing all their icons now. Going,
Yeah.
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 Thank
What's
goodness.
you're in your house, right? And you're in your
What?
kitchen.
We're in
Yeah.
that. What?
You're in
You're
your
in your
house.
house and then
so
kitchen.
picture. Close your eyes if you like.
I need
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
You touch yourself. You normally do like.
No, I love that song, don't you? I want myself and I want you to know.
Yeah,
I
Divinals.
love
Oh, great band.
myself and anything for you. I don't
Just talk
want
this way.
anybody
He'll be like that
else.
for a
Okay,
while now.
so-
Just talk this way.
He's in his kitchen touching himself. Right. You're in your kitchen. Your kitchen drawers, right? Third drawer down. What's in your third drawer down?
What the third one? Oh,
Oh,
glad
our
wrap and
third
junk.
drawer down's dog shit.
Glad wrap.
Third drawer's down dog shit.
So top drawer cutlery,
Yep.
second drawer utensils,
Bigger utensils?
fucking tongs and shit like that.
That's
Yeah.
our kids one, the second drawer.
Bottom drawer is
Oh, you only got 3.
like, hey,
You only got 3 drawers.
no, four,
Oh, so you're
fourth
going-
drawer,
so you-
bottom,
Keep doing that.
fourth drawer.
So you're going 1, 2, then you're going bottom, and then you're going to come up to the third.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sweet.
bottom drawer is tea towels.
That's a
and,
boring drawer, isn't
yeah,
it?
stuff.
Tea towel drawer.
Third drawer is just shit we should have got rid of. Like there's utensils that the kids would have used when they were babies, and
Yeah, you find
like
weird shit in there. Huh?
yeah, a bunch of shit that we should just clear out, and we don't actually need that shit.
Yeah.
We don't need it. Just
Yeah.
fuck it off.
I had, I've got in there now, I've got the little plastic containers, like Tupperware containers for the kids' lunches. So I cut up veggies and that, put them in there. So that's in the third drawer. Top drawer. When we used to live, when I lived in Toowoomba and still at home with Mum, I had a girlfriend over and she was like opening the top drawer to get utensils out. And Mum had them in the second drawer down, like the knives and forks and spoons.
That's weird.
And the second drawer?
The second drawer, which was
That's
weird, but that's how we grew up.
Yeah, okay.
And we thought that was normal.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then I
That's
had
going to fuck up all your relationships, isn't it? Like,
Look, she went, fuck this. So she just took the drawer out, got the second one, and put the utensils in the top. So from then on, Mum went, that's all right, that's all fine. Yeah, so
okay.
yeah, it was okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
knives and forks
yeah.
on the top.
this is unrelated, but
Let's do it anyway.
I was just thinking,
Yeah, it's your
I was
podcast.
thinking,
Take the charge, Scoot,
Yeah.
just for a change.
like in Origin the other
Try
night.
something different.
Oh
yeah,
Origin
Origin.
the other night.
Yep.
Remember, towards the end, we really put the nail in the coffin. I think Daly Cherry Evans made a break, and then he did that kick.
oh yeah,
And Xavier Coates
yeah.
was on the inside,
try,
grabbed it,
yeah.
yeah. And I was thinking, because that was the one that was just like, we're definitely winning. And I was thinking the headline for the newspaper the next day, it should have been, get your hat and coats. Get your hats and coats. And like with him crossing the try line.
Get your
Just to
hands
be clear, have you thought of that because you were just so bored by our content?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Get your hats and coats. But then that makes me think, why don't they crowdsource some of this stuff? Like I can submit.
for headings.
Yeah, like
Headlines.
I'm sure journos are like they've.
Do you want to write your own stablemate questions? Like, are you just answering the questions that nobody asked?
Yeah. Okay, sock puppets. What are you most afraid of in the dark? So there you go. It's a Jeopardy.
Oh, fuck.
I have a friend who is a journo, as an editor,
Oh,
and
yes.
I do know that they really value that when there's just an god awful pun. On
Yeah,
it. You know,
someone-
sometimes you
They
see a
do.
shocker one, and they're like, "Yes, we got it." They love it.
Because that's from Rodney, isn't it?
What?
Get your hat and coat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's like the little Johnny got.
Oh, here we go. I love a little Johnny joke.
It was create your own word day, and they had the whole school in there in the hall. Little Johnny's turn to go up on stage. Oh no, Johnny, what's your word? And then you got to use it in a sentence. And he said, "Oh, my word's garn." And we'll use it in a sentence. He's like, "Garn, get fucked." So they expel him, right? And he waits all years for it to come around again, right? So he goes back in disguised as a different student.
Yeah.
And it comes around to his turn. You know, hall's full of people, teachers there, principals there. All right, Billy, what's your word? And he goes, shmee. And they said, all right, use it in a sentence. He goes, takes off his disguise and says, shmee again, go and get fucked. All right. Anyway, so your third draw down, did you want to, no, you just want to
I said it
give a
before.
hat and
Glad
coats?
wrap.
Glad wrap, okay, all right. Next
Good
question.
idea, Glad wrap. If I get rid of that shit we don't need,
Yeah.
because Glad wrap gets in the way in another drawer that we got. So
Should toilet paper be hung over or under?
Isn't it
Oh,
obvious
I've-
over? Like, why would you do under?
I've had a thing with this lately
Yeah.
where it should be over. It's always over.
What? Yeah.
But my wife got up me because my wife's
Is she an under person?
her biggest pet peeve of me is when I leave an unchanged toilet roll on the holder.
You shouldn't do that.
Well,
Not
I might
skitties.
just use the last of
Chris,
it,
Chris.
and I don't
Chris.
put a whole new one on.
Chris, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
What's that mean?
Think about it.
Is this something
The
to
way
do
you
with
carry
oral sex or
yourself,
something?
the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you start letting that slip, then you know, the whole thing's thrown out the window. Like,
All right, well, can you just shut up? Can I just go back to what I was saying?
T-shirt. Get a t-shirt for that one too.
Anyway, so her biggest pet peeve is when I leave a blank toilet roll on there. I'm distracted. So I learned from that. And I heard her and I said, okay, I'm going to fix
listen.
that. So when I use the last of the shit wipe, I will take it off and I'll get another roll and I'll pop it on there
Yep.
and we're good.
Yep.
But I do not like starting a new
Trying to,
roll.
like-
I'm really
Yeah.
bad at it. Like I'm
You tear it. And,
tear it and stuff. So I'll chuck a new one on there and I'll walk away
Right.
and I'll leave it. But then she'll be
that's
like,
gonna be a problem,
"Oh,
yeah.
we go over under in this house. We don't. We go over. We don't go around the back and under. And you always put it on wrong." I'm like, no, I'm all about over. It's just I don't like to start it. Like I'll just let you fucking start it and I just chuck the bastard on there and walk away.
So have you put it on? Have you put it on the wrong way? Not realizing
yes, that's right.
that-
So and I
Somebody
just
might.
I
It might
just
have
chuck
been
the thing
under.
on there and I don't like to start it, so I just leave it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's. I mean, that is the way you do everything. So that's that. I reckon. 2 comments. So
I don't know why, because we're 36 episodes in, and you've been quite a fuckwit in a lot of them, but that one shit me off more than normal, and I don't know why. That one particularly got me. Like, you were an irritating cockhead in that moment, and I don't know why.
that thing is the way I do everything.
Why? Why did I find that so fucking annoying?
I'm just being consistent because it struck a nerve.
It was
Because you know it's true.
It was proper
so
fucking...
2 comments on the toilet paper. One, my grandma, my dad's mum, Judy, who passed away quite a few years ago, I always remember that she found it luxury. Like, she really liked it if she was ever at a place where it was luxurious enough that they'd point the toilet paper. You know, like
like
the
in a
cleaners
hotel
would-
or something.
Hey?
Like in a hotel where
Yeah, in a
they
hotel or
point it.
something where instead of just leaving the
Yep.
toilet, you know, they put that little angle on
thing
it,
on there,
triangle on
yeah.
it. So
I thought you
yeah.
meant like they put the crochet cover over them. Did you ever see them as a
on the
kid?
toilet.
On the toilet roll.
Like the plush,
Yeah.
like woolly mats around the toilet. Surely that's half.
Yeah, and also like the toilet
If it
seat covers
squelches.
where you like the toilet seat covers my grandparents used to have. But going back to the point, why would you like that? Because you're going to destroy that anyway.
point-
Like it was just they've gone to the effort of doing
I
that
think
for
it was
you.
just I think it was just like I'm in
Yep.
such a nice place. I've done that. So sometimes I will do that, like just in our house, just as
Oh, right.
as a nice little
Well,
thing.
for the next
Gesture
person
for the
who
next
uses a
person.
shit
yeah,
out.
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
lovely.
I do things.
Yeah. Always thinking about
It's
this.
a very
Yeah.
clever marketing trick, actually. It's because they're trying to show you that if you worry about that little detail, what other details have they
Yeah,
worried
the
about
way you
as
do
well?
one thing
Yep.
is the way you do everything. Exactly.
That's right.
With the under thing, like I'm just trying to find reasons that someone might. I don't know if this is a real debate, over versus under, or is everyone just an over, and it's just this fictional debate that's been made up, and no one ever answers
Well,
under.
can I ask you another question
Yeah.
on top of that?
That's one question, but you can ask another on top of that one.
I'll ask this then. Why does everyone give a fuck? Who fucking cares? You're going
As long as there's some there.
You're going to get access to Dunny White. Like, who
Yeah.
fucking... Like, for some reason, I do like it over the top. I like it that
Yeah.
way better. But who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Why do we care so much?
I don't know, just yeah.
I reckon either no one actually likes it under, and it's just like there's these mythical people
What's
we think
wrong with
exist.
under? What's wrong with under?
They
Tell
like
me
it.
what's wrong with under.
Well,
unicorns.
I think it's less like it's not as easy to break off. I suppose you couldn't like just pinch it and break it, maybe. But I think,
But you're a 3 square man, aren't you?
yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah,
It's
I
they're
use so
Yeah,
much
then-
more toilet paper than you. I think about that every time I wipe my ass now. I think about you.
Well, you do one thing. Yeah.
God, I don't know why, but this is an irritating episode all of a sudden.
I think maybe the people who like it under, if they even exist, they might be more aesthetic based than function based people. So maybe they're hiding that dirt. Like it just looks more.
Oh yeah.
You can't see anything
They're
except the
doing-
roll. You can't see where it like the
a perfect
untidy
roll.
met like break off bit.
Yeah.
They like the look of that.
Maybe.
Well, if
It's
there's
more
any
streamlined.
stablemates out there, get in
Yeah,
touch.
I'd like
Let
to
us
know
know.
what,
yeah.
what the reasoning is.
Yeah, be good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Next
God, he's
question.
a fuckhead.
We got one more.
One more?
Yep.
Yep.
One more.
All right. Is
long we got.
flirting considered cheating?
Nah.
No?
Depends.
Depends.
Depends
Level of
where the
flirting?
level of flirting and the level. I think the definition that I would go by, which I think, I can't finish that sentence, but I wish I didn't say which I think.
So everyone has a different line, you
well,
mean?
the definition I would go on is if your partner saw that
Yeah,
happening,
that's right. Yeah.
would they be
How would they be?
okay with it or not?
Right.
Sort of thing.
It's
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
in every single relationship where the
Yeah.
boundaries are and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's if your partner would be unhappy with what they see, then that's fine. Because you got to think there's people in open relationships where they can fuck
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they knew they were doing that, then that's not okay by them. So scale that back down to regular, old school relationships where that's not okay.
Yeah.
Then it's whatever they're not comfortable with, and you're not comfortable with, back and forth. That's the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless maybe it was a situation where the partner had really unreasonable standards that you didn't agree with, like you just being in the company of another.
Then what you've got there is called a shit of a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's control and manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the like if it's a one-off thing at a one night, you're at somewhere and someone's flirting with your partner, and it's just a one-off thing, and it's a bit of cheeky banter and that's
Yeah.
fine. If it's an ongoing thing over with the same one person over,
Sure, that's probably worse. Yeah.
that can
I feel really lucky that I've got a relationship where my wife and I are really honest about this kind of thing. And like if I'm out on a night out with you or something like that and there's something like that going on, I'll come home and say to her, this happened.
Yeah.
And it was, like this person was into me, and I, a bit of teasing too, like with a bit
Just-
of
yeah.
you wanted me, a bit of that.
Yeah.
And it's just really honest.
Yeah.
But I know that honesty
Yeah.
portion with us, so I know our boundaries with each other,
Yeah.
and I would never break that. So, I think that's where it all comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's some people go overboard with ownership and possession.
Oh, my
and those kind of things,
ex-girlfriend.
and, yeah,
My ex-girlfriend, she used to get cranky if I saw a really hot woman on a movie and was like,
wanking into your pillow.
yeah. No.
All right, that's it.
Hiccups.
Episode 36. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you've got an excuse why under toilet paper, let us know. At what's the email there? Uncle Jigs?
I'm done. I've got the hiccups. Someone else.
Just go to the website.
Back on the horse. You do it.
Back on the Horse podcast at gmail.com.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much. Good much.